Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Esports, trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a wall. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that Rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Santi getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Linky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Blue manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
It's another day, another week, another reason to tune into CGL Season 16 for some more playoffs action. We are going into our round 2 for most of our brackets, and we're going and stepping into the highly coveted open tier, the EU side of things to boot. We have Aurafarmers up against the Dream Eaters, and it's going to be an absolute fun one in this first to 3 today, won't it be, Rain?
I'm super excited for this one. EU has a whole lot of talent in getting to cover this open division match where this is the best of the best for the EU CGL division. And these 2 teams, I mean, you've come this far. We're into the playoffs, like you said, round 2. So this has been a pretty good season for them, but it's all down to the line now.
It sure is. And it's not just this broadcast happening today. We have another one happening later tonight. Right now we have, of course, Dream Eaters and Aurafarmers. Then later tonight in the NA side of things, we're going to have Rat Milkers versus Low Ground Main, covered by some other wonderful casters and producers. With that being said, we have the open tier as we mentioned. So let's go look over at how exactly these 2 teams did come up into the round 2, getting a clean 3-0 for each of their round 1s. T4 Demons going down to the Dream Eaters, and then Bliss Martyrs also, unfortunately, going down to that lower bracket against Aurafarmer. So that loses round 1, already looking extremely, extremely powerful here, as we already see both EMC teams also kind of forced into a team kill in the lower bracket, something to definitely look out for in the coming next couple of days. But focusing right back over to Dream Eaters and Aurafarmer, this should be a really good one, especially if you think about who they might be going into after the fact into round 3.
Yeah, looking at round 3, of course, the winner of this match will be able to stay in that upper bracket up against MSU versus Smelvin Industries, the winner of that. And then because this is the double Olymp bracket, the loser not out of things just yet, but you definitely don't want to have to try and fight your way through that lower bracket.
No, you don't. It gets so much more difficult. You have to play more games than if you just kind of stayed your butt up in the winner's side, right? But where is the best place to start things off, Rain? It's always going to be Lijiang Tower. Really going to be showcasing a plethora of compositions with all 3 submaps possibly available to our 2 teams today.
Yeah, it's really hard to argue with Lijiang Tower being kind of the fan favorite here, getting to start on this one many times, which of course means both these teams know exactly what they want to run here, but we are going to have that added layer of things. We'll of course have some hero bans coming in from both teams, which are going to shake up the meta maybe a little bit.
It's been a really interesting meta as of late. Some changes have been seen, of course, with even the backline, the DPS line. I would say the tanks have been pretty reserved. You know, we've been continuously seeing this Zarya come through, Orisa, even some Malga. We saw a lot of Malga mirrors happen last week throughout all the tiers, so it's become very brawl heavy as of late. Some specialists of dive still come through with a Winston or a Ball coupled with like your Genjis and Traces of the world, but either way, the brawl has really come to shine, and Dream Eaters are going to have that first ban under their belt, and they're going to ban out Wu Yang, mitigating a really popular backline of the Wu Yang and Kiriko.
Yeah, and I think that especially on kind of these control center maps, Wuyang can do a really good job of kind of controlling angles on his own, so you're able to kind of deny value from some of those flankers while putting out a really big healing output. So not playing that, you lean more towards kind of, like you mentioned, these kind of brawl styles. I expect that we might see the Lucio here. You can still pair that very nicely with the Kiriko. Now, Judo and Brig did both get some changes in that mid-season patch, so potentially the opportunity to kind of bring back that backline, especially where you mentioned Malga's getting a little bit more playtime as well, and those backlines can really play nicely with the tank.
Oh, they absolutely can. The Juno is a classic with the Malga. If you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But as the timer does tick down to the last couple of seconds, if you want to mitigate a brawl of some shape or form, especially on something like Lijiang Tower, some teams like to gear towards a Mei or a Pharah for that safe kind of ban. But instead, it's going to be a Sigma coming in from Aurafarmer. A little bit of a interesting ban only because this is a ban mostly reserved for like your Circuit Royales of the world, your things like that. So to have it already be here at the forefront of Lijiang Tower is so telling from Aurafarmer.
Yeah, this is an interesting ban. Like you said, we aren't necessarily seeing Sigma a whole lot on Lijiang, but Sigma does enable a very specific type of play style, kind of going more towards this poke composition where you're just looking to kind of find picks. So taking the Sigma out of it is going to open up an option to play kind of those metas that don't play well into poke. I'm thinking like a dive, which you mentioned we could potentially see here. When you take out that kind of spam damage from the Sigma, it'll make it a little bit easier to kind of run those dive heroes.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of some heroes, let's see exactly which 5 players are coming in from the side of Dream Eaters. We have Asuka, we have Kwayu, we have Myro, Nafta Capwa, and Nat Nif as well. You've seen these people before. You've seen their faces in the regular season, in the mid-season, and now in playoffs, where they deserve to be working so hard throughout the regular season to get to this point, to get to this round 2 of the playoff bracket, competing for a share of $1,500 in first place. Guys, it's going to be a big match for these guys today.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, $1,500 on the line. That's super exciting. Now, let's take a look at the opponent here for the Dream Eaters. It's going to be Aurafarmer. We have Evil and Kond on the DPS roles. Golden Pan's going to be starting out on that tank. Vintak and Keela, the support line. And I have to mention as well that Aurafarmer have a whole bunch of substitutions as well. So if they need to, they can just swap people in as this series goes on. And we'll have to see if they choose to do that or if you just want to kind of keep things consistent with everybody in the same roster.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Teams that have some, even more so, both Aurafarmer and Dream Eaters both have a good plethora of substitutes. So this can come down to specialists versus specialists. This can come down to people that you trade off your Brawl specialist tank. Maybe you go in with a Winston specialist or a Ball specialist. Teams are so good at having a lot of different substitutions to kind of make up for what's lacking in a map or in a composition that they want to play. With that being said, looks like teams are starting to get ready here. They're starting to veer up and get ready to get into Lijiang Tower. And I really hope that we go into something like Night Market first or even or Gardens, because those are really your open maps. I feel like when it comes to something like Control Center, which I do think we're going to load into early here, that's where sometimes you can get so outpaced if you are the brawlier team.
Yeah, and also thinking that if we get started on Control Center, we're not necessarily going to get a taste of kind of what are the other options that teams have to run, because when you play this Control Center submap, you can get kind of locked into like playing that brawl, whereas like you mentioned, if we head over to Garden or to Night Market, that's where you get a little bit more variety in the compositions. But yes, you called it, Mott. We are going to be heading over to Control Center to get things started off here in this round 2 of the upper finals. And a reminder, no Sigma here and no Wu Yang, so a whole lot of poke damage is gone from this map already.
And you're already seeing some interesting compositions lining up, at least in the spawn area. Whereas we're talking so much about how fruitful Brawl can really show itself to be on Control Center, we're seeing a lack of it, right? We're seeing a ball from Golden Pants. We're seeing Myro hovering over D.Va so far with a Brig and Kiriko backline from Naf and Nat. That is so interesting from Dream Eaters, and if they're going to commit to Symmetra or go Tracer, either one, this is some really unprecedented things we've seen on Control Center yet.
Yeah, I like the D.Va coming out. Now, D.Va in that mid-season did have a little bit of a change to the defense matrix, so you're going to be able to have more uptime on that. And then Naf, the Catboy, coming out on the Brigida. It's interesting to pair it with the Kiriko, because now Brigida's going to be able to throw out those packs a little bit faster, so you might be able to pair it with this Kiri.
Ooh, and as much as I love playing the Brig with the Kiriko, Nat wanders too far off into Conde's rail shot there. And without a Kiriko, you're overly relying on just a Brig to get that healing output. We know Brig, she only had 3 packs in a dream, and if you're not able to engage, there's no area of healing either. So Naf and company need to wait for Nat to come back, letting Aurafarmer get that first point, and they're not letting up Rain. They're already trying to engage on the backline. You see Evil forced to use that recall, and that distraction gave Conde another opportunity to use that rail shot onto Kwaiyu.
Ooh, yeah, nice first control gained here from Aurafarmer, demecking Myro as well. You're just getting these late stagger kills, building more and more percentage for yourselves here. Having Golden Pants on this Wrecking Ball has been really great for Aurafarmer. We can see that he's already nearly built up to those mines, and this is going to be a really hard choke point for Dream Eaters to try and walk through, and where you're running this Cassidy and the Brig, you really need to kind of have some stability here. So Aurafarmer have an opportunity to kind of engage first and really shut down this push from Dream Eaters.
The fact that we already have Minefield is very crazy. I bet Dream Eaters hasn't even scouted that yet, because it's so fast. We're only 45% to the objective. Here comes the Minefield, separating the backline from the front line. Asuka is trying to stay alive, especially in the hands of the defense matrix, but the melee from Evil takes care of the Cassidy. You can see Golden Pants trying to bombard the team here into the Minefield, baiting another elimination, but Naf gets pile drived onto it and followed up on by Killa 4. Unfortunately for Dream Eaters, they need to back out, but they had committed the rally during the engagement, and it's almost for naught, as Evil once again continuously finding very late staggers in these fights.
And that's really big, because you get the rally out of Catboy there, and unfortunately Dream Eater's already down too many numbers, so you just don't really have the lives to kind of sustain through it. But it's a big ult fight coming up next here. If you can get an early pick onto the Tracer, that would be really big for Dream Eaters to push in, but no! Kwaiu's actually going to fall themselves.
Yeah, always. Conde coming with these rail shots are insane. The high noon comes through from the beginning of this point, and you see the Suzu did get used, but it's a tad bit too early from the side of Nat, allowing that postman to get so much free value. And with or without a brawl, Aurafarmer essentially held these guys all the way in their spawn room, 100% to nothing in Control Center.
Yeah, it looked really, really good for Aurafarmer there, and I think that Golden Pants and Evil are doing such a great job kind of playing in tandem. This Wrecking Ball plus Tracer combo is ripping apart Dream Eaters. We can see that Evil always has enough space to kind of take this off angle, appear from somewhere where Dream Eaters is just not expecting him to be, and hitting the shots to follow up on it. So Dream Eaters are really going to have to pull their stuff together here to really kind of focus in on keeping everybody alive and controlling these angles, so you don't let Evil get set up like that. We're gonna see the Asuka swap over onto the Freya here as we head over to Gardens. This is gonna be that longer range map here, so this is gonna work really nicely for the Freya, but Golden Pants on this Wrecking Ball is gonna have an even easier time on this map.
Yeah, I had to agree with you here. Myro on paper should also have the same benefit, but when Golden Pants rolls right on through and finds the first elimination onto Naf, that's just simply going to be the end of the fight as soon as it had started. Dream Eaters basically landed their toes on the objective, lost one, and they're going for a quick reset even more so. Myro, again, demeched and taken down early. Point just now unlocking for Aurafarmer to overtake it.
All right, it's going to be the first percentage gained again here. Aurafarmers are going to be able to get themselves set up. Nice little angle here, really controlling the bridge. Asuka on this Freya is, of course, going to want to more rotate towards that kind of bridge side. Have some more long, open sight lines here. But it's just so hard against Golden Ball on this ball.
No, really, I mean, Golden Pants really is a menace on this character. Finds the follow-up with Evil onto Nat the Catboy. Even though you're Brig, an anti-dive hero, you can only do so much against the forces of a cohesive team like that Ball, like that Tracer. Finally, eliminations coming through for the side of Dream Eater. We have not taken down Conde, who has again been a big problem, but no one's able to lock down either this Tracer or this ball. So Aurafarmer once again pick up the pieces and they finish it strong here.
I feel like Dream Eaters with this Brig Kiriko backline, you're not really able to get a really nice split to send one of your supports kind of with that one of the DPS here, and that's where Aurafarmers is really catching them off guard.
Okay, Minefields is on the floor here, separating Asuka from that Brigida. Also, again, really forcing this 1v2 versus the ball, and it looks like Godapan's got what we needed because that distraction allowed the rest of the team to follow up again on that Brig in the backline. Nat finds a headshot Vin onto Vintac, and we are getting these other shields and rolling back to safety. We do have a Torbjorn coming from Conde after going down as the Sojourn, and some ultimates are definitely online here as a beautiful contest comes through from Goldapants. It forces the Kitsune Rush. It forces a loss of 2 players from Aurafarmer.
Torb Swap, an interesting choice here against this Freya. Maybe going to be able to control Quayu a little bit on this Tracer, but it is going to be allowing Dream Eaters to kind of take control of this point, and you just had to use that Kitsune Rush there. You have both DPS ultimates to work with. Conde's going to swap over onto the Soldier now, so the Soldier could pair quite nicely with this Wrecking Ball. Again, you're going to be able to kind of have an angle, live on your own.
I think Conde's just trying to play, anytime he dies, he goes to a different character, I think is the plan of action here. And it might work. I love the Soldier here as for more individual play, and speaking of individual play, Evil goes over to the backline, finds Asuka with that Pulse Bomb. The Diva Bomb does get forced out, but Myro cannot stay alive in that baby form for any longer. Pulse Bomb sticks onto the Wrecking Ball, but of course that Sound Barrier will negate it entirely. Nat's toolkit has basically been eradicated as he's forced over to go back to our Brigida, who is in rally. It depletes. The Minefield is online here, and can my ball come back? He cannot!
Asuka gonna claim that final blow there. It's still a brawl on the plane. However, Dream Eaters still in control here. Now that Golden Pants is out of the fight, it's looking good for Dream Eaters to try and stabilize here, but it doesn't look like Aurafarmer want to give up just yet.
No, they don't, but mind you, the point isn't even in their favor. I'm not really sure they understand that quite yet. It's going to be Dream Eaters continuously finding eliminations. They're going to continue to have this point go up in their favor, and they might even be able to overlap in percentage here. 75% and 77, very easy to overtake away from Aurafarmer. More so, Nat has now committed his own Kitsune Rush here, right along the bridge into the entryway of the dojo, and this should be enough to scare off Dream Eaters, at least momentarily, while we are still losing out people. We don't have the point! We don't have the point!
Aurafarmers just stretched that out way too far, and now you're gonna have a scrappy last touch. You're gonna be down 2 here. You have to get a foot on the point though, because now it's looking like an overtime cap here for Dream Eaters.
Oh my goodness! The post bomb hit Vintac barely as Golden Pants was trying to roll away to safety, and that's what allowed Vintac to, go down early in that fight. The pressure from the post bomb was too much to bear. You're seeing the visor come through from Conde, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. The post bomb is eaten from Myro. Myro is locked right back in. Evil did not get the value that he was looking for. On top of that, we almost have another rally. We almost have another bomb. We have the bomb online. We're gonna use the rally off cooldown, and here's the Kitsune Rush from Killa. But I think, Rain, it might be a little bit too late. We're forcing the Soldier out. We're losing 2. We gotta kill this ball though. The Minefield is too powerful to leave unattended.
Oh yeah, now Golden Pants has his sight on Nap the Catboy. The Brigida going to manage to stay alive. Overtime still ticking, and of course, if Aurafarmer step off the point for just a millisecond, they're going to lose it. But no, they are going to manage to get the flip through all of that. What impressive tenacity from Aurafarmer to come back from that. And now Dream Eaters kind of on the back foot here. You used a lot of ultimates there. You really want to build up to Natnif's Kitsune Rush, because that has really been the difference maker in the last couple of fights for Dream Eaters. But Vintac gonna have that beat ready to go as well, so you want to either kind of try and force that out or use the rush to just burn it down.
I mean, they're calling it the world's longest fight here, Rain. This has been 3 fights in 1, and we have another Minefield almost ready. Sunbear comes in from Quintac, from Vintac, excuse me. We have Quayu and Nav out of the fight. The Kitsune Rush might be fruitless for Nav, as it's only 3 people getting the benefit of it. And guess what? One of them you can't even walk inside of it because the Minefield's interrupting that entire lane of of the Kitsune Rush. And with that being said, despite Aurafarmer making a fight last for a little bit too long, they find the win at the end of the day, securing 1 point on the scoreboard here.
Yeah, nice recovery from Aurafarmer. It was looking pretty dire towards the end there, and really good job from Dream Eaters to be able to kind of stagger that out as long as they did. But once Aurafarmer got their kind of regroup going, that's when they were able to come back in, take another clean fight, and make this Lijiang victory happen.
I'm shocked. I'm in utter shock. This was a really good first round for Aurafarmer, 1000%. Like this was fantastic. Evil came in from around the back. No one scouted him out. He got such free value with that pulse bomb on the Deadeye. Here is where they were really, in favor of taking this this control point, really uncontested. In the middle one of the fights, though, Dream Eaters flipped right here, flipped the point, and we went from 45% of this fight to 99% before inevitably Golden Pants came back with the clutch. Oh my God! With the clutch of a lifetime. I get support, support like PTSD. I'm like, don't do that. Give it from me.
Almost a drive-by happening there. Pretty
literally.
much was. But I think that Dream Eaters definitely had some pretty good plays there. I think that when they get their ults kind of synced up, those Kitsune rushes that we were seeing were really impactful when you kind of had all 5 people there to kind of work with it. It seemed like Dream Eaters were really kind of playing more kind of as like a brawl style in this dive, where you're running that Brig in the Kiriko and you don't really have kind of the split happening with your DPS there. When you have those like lane ultimates where you're just going to be able to everybody fire down, that's when you're really coming out on top here. But when you're playing against a Wrecking Ball team, sometimes you can basically just get shut down altogether when you try to play like that.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about that. I died for a second. I just I pressed my mouse forward and I dipped. But either way, yeah, it was great, fantastic first round here for the side of Aurafarmer. And now you have the option of literally anything in the map pool in your favor, any mode, any map, even side, I believe, selection as well, and first ban. So really, Dream Eaters has the world in the palm of their hands right now. If we know that there is a really good ball player like Golden Pants on the side of Aurafarmer, we need to find a way to mitigate that as much as possible, or even more so if we want to also get rid of this Tracer. I think it's also a very valid option, because Tracer, when she's unchecked, especially from another Tracer or from a Cassie or whomever can typically check her, and they're not able to do that, there's so much free value really being utilized and gotten for Evil. So there's some really good bans in play here that could possibly come into fruition as we go into map 2.
That's a really good point. Despite Tracer getting a little bit of a nerf in the mid-season where her projectiles aren't quite as large anymore, Evil does not seem to be deterred by that whatsoever, really doing excellent stuff on the Tracer. And you mentioned it right there. If you don't have somebody that can kind of take that Tracer duel, I'm thinking Quayu on the Tracer not really having the opportunity to kind of take those duels, because you don't have the Lucio to support you, which is oftentimes what we're kind of seeing is that Tracer-Lucio duo kind of playing over on the side. But when you're running this Brigitte in the Kiriko, you don't really have the opportunity to kind of play off on an angle, because Brig is just not as fast as the Lucio's going to be. And if you send your Kiriko over there, that means that your tank isn't really going to have all of the healing that they're going to need. So I'm really hoping that on top of Dream Eaters kind of picking a map that is going to not favor this Wrecking Ball so much, I'd really like to see them maybe swap up their composition as well. I wasn't really loving the Kiriko Brig that we were seeing from them.
The Kiriko Brig backline is difficult to pull off. On paper, yeah, you have a whip, you have Whiplash, you have also the Bash, you have Kitsune Rush, or Suzy, well, yeah, you have Suzy, you have Swift Step, you have things to get out of the dive more often than not, right? But the individual characters themselves don't work that well with one another. They have different uptimes, they have different tempos, they have ways of kind of overstepping one another's roles, whereas Kiriko Lucio have a really good push and pull, which you were seeing from Aurafarmer. They had a really good synergy going on, and as you mentioned while we were in those fights, you mentioned, hey, there's no way for the backline to split up and go for like a Lucio with a DPS or a Kiriko with the core, because your Brig has to stay with your backline. She has to stay with somebody, or she's not getting value, and if she's caught up by herself, well, bye. You know, goodbye, Brig. So I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think a mix-up of the backline might be something to look forward to. And if that means going to Lucio or Wu Yang, for example, or even bringing back Juno, those are options that need to be considered.
It's a good point, right? That Wuyang ban coming out in the first map definitely has been kind of a favored support in the last, well, really since he's been released. So having that come back into the mix for map 2 might change things around for those backlines. And I think especially where now, you know, all of the map types are open here, so Dream Eaters can really cater not only a map that's going to negate Aurafarmer's preferred playstyle, but you can tune it to what you want to play, right? If you want to put the Wuyang back into the mix, you can take us to maybe an escort map or a hybrid where you're going to have some kind of angles to work with. But like you said, the world is in the palm of their hand. They have all the options to work with here, so you really, really want to win this next map if you're Dream Eaters.
You really do. And we have our next map locked and loaded. It's going to be New Junk City. So, Flashpoint, which is a usual thing that people want to go to for map 2. But usually, Rain, we'll see like Saravasa. We'll see maybe an Atlas thrown in there. People typically don't use New Junk City, if ever. They don't like it. Arena is one of the most difficult places to fight for first. And it's like, you have to go to it first. And if you don't win out Arena, GG's, you're down a point anyway.
I agree. Arena's a really, really tough one, and it really does kind of start the momentum going. So it's like whatever team is going to end up winning on Arena, well, you're going to set yourself up to kind of just snowball through the rest of Flashpoint. But it definitely does play a very kind of interesting style on the first point compared to the rest of them. The first point, there's so many hard choke points once you're in control of that Flashpoint. And you have some options to work with, but you are not going to have a Tracer to work with. You mentioned it, Mod. Evil was causing just too much problems for Dream Eaters.
And you know what? It's okay to admit, you know what? We can't keep this Tracer. We can't try this Tracer consistently. There's too much going on. We need to find a way to mitigate that distraction kind of game plan that we were seeing from Aurafarmer. And to get rid of the Tracer, I think is really big of Dream Eaters. Because, again, it's okay to admit, you know what? I can't do this Tracer. My headspace, I'm not good for right now. I need to do other things. Let's just ban her outright and see if that changes anything here. So, Aurafarmer, with that in mind, I mean, they're like, okay, well, Eva got immediately target banned. So, you have a support and a tank to fall behind. You know, who do you want to ban in this regard? And we could go for a opposing target ban, maybe on the Kiriko, as both teams were playing Kiriko, of course. You could also go maybe for a Brig ban if you know that, you know, if it's kind of weird that you want to play Kiriko Brig, a backline that isn't super popular. Maybe that's something that, you know, we do see from Dream Eaters more often than not. But no, it's going to be a target ban on the opposite spectrum of things. We're going to actually see the D.Va be banned out entirely. And if we get a reminder about some of our favorite heroes in the head-to-head coming up, I mean, we know these guys both like playing Brawl anyway. They're okay with getting rid of a D.Va. They're okay with getting rid of a Ball if they want to.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if this means that Aurafarmer are going to still stick with Golden Pants on that Wrecking Ball. The D.Va, pretty good at kind of like avoiding a lot of the damage that the Wrecking Ball is going to be put in, and she has the opportunity to kind of go for the peel. Now, having the Tracer banned out means that the D.Va doesn't necessarily need to kind of peel as much, because I'm interested to see if it's going to be a Genji that replaces the Tracer. If Aurafarmer still play this Wrecking Ball, you need a mobile DPS of some sort to kind of work with. But like you mentioned, Brawl is definitely really on the table now with this D.Va ban coming out. Potentially, we even get to see a little bit of Mauga.
I'm excited for some Mauga. I love me some Mauga. I love Mauga mirrors a lot, and I know a lot of people don't for very understandable reasons. It's kind of like, haha, and then you kind of sit there for a little bit and see what happens, right? It's kind of like a spectating game. But I love what happens around Mauga. I love seeing what the supports are doing. I love seeing what the DPS are doing to help enable a Mauga comp. Of course, given if Aurafarmer and Golden Pants specifically wants to go Mauga here, right? I guess especially against Myro on Zarya. It's a lot of free charge that Zarya will get, especially with the burning effect from Mauga. So you kind of gotta take things as they are and see exactly what will work best for the side of Aurafarmer and what will work best for Dream Eaters. That being said, Aurafarmer are deciding, okay, we might actually stick to what's been working so far. Dream Eaters said that wasn't working. We're gonna do something completely different.
Yeah, this comp that Dream Eaters is hovering is a little bit all over the place. Okay, I like this from Natniv. Maybe we get to see the Juno. I'm really surprised if we do stick with this Brigitte, but no, okay, here we go. Some comps locking in. This makes a little bit more sense. I think having Quayu on this Mei is going to be really, really great for this first point, but look at this comp that Aurafarmer running out with all the angles. They are never going to get caught behind this Mei wall.
I'm so sorry, Rain. I genuinely did not know you could just slide up that car like that and get that much airtime. That was crazy. Shout out to Golden Pants now rolling through, trying to separate that Zarya from the backline. It's happening a little bit here as we are seeing that Sombra come through, and Quayu and the rest of the team here really consolidate onto Conde and takes him out of the fight on that Sombra. Might even force a swap early on. And this means that Aurafarmer are already playing out a 4v5 situation. They need to find somebody to lock eyes to. Quayu will be forced to use that self-freeze to get a little bit of healing over time, but Aurafarmer seems like they are going to back up, at least for now, as Vintag actually, I lied. Everyone started dying. Asuka comes through. Vintag gets a boop off. Evil finds Nat kind of separated away from the team here. And then suddenly you had a 4v5 that went down to a 2v5.
A team kill coming through for Aurafarmer. It was a really, really great adjustment after you lose Conde early there. Everybody just plays kind of chill. You let yourselves get set up, and then you get the pinch in onto Dream Eaters. Now, 18% is at least something for Dream Eaters to have on the board here. But now Aurafarmers are going to be in control, and look how far they're pushed up. They don't necessarily want to hold a choke point because you have all these mobile heroes. What you want to do is control the angles.
Oh, and angles have been controlled. Vin, again, actually seeking out Nap in that engagement, taking out the Lucio, knowing that these guys no longer have any sort of speed advantage, and they're just going to continue to get ping-pong all over the place. The deflect kill comes through from Evil onto Nat, and already 57% given to Aurafarmer, really keeping these guys in their spawn area for a lot longer than expected.
Yeah, they're making this look very easy. Unfortunately for Dream Eaters, when you have this Mei comp, you really want to try and find your way into kind of a smaller corridor. I like this rotation from them, trying to get under the point.
Not gonna happen though. Minefields comes through, it separates that entryway from even being an option for the side of Dream Eaters. Now we do see a lot of pressure being put onto Golden Pants as you are seeing them at less than 1 HP, but Evil pops open that Dragon Blade, finds Asuka. This does give a 45 advantage here for the side of Dream Eaters, but, I'm sorry, for Aurafarmer, excuse me. That being said, we had the continued rush being expended from that and the sound barrier response from Vin. It comes down to survivability, it comes down to who can stabilize faster, and it might come out to be Dream Eaters if they find 3 in a blink of an eye.
I like this. As soon as Dream Eaters are able to kind of find their way onto the point, that's where we're seeing this Mei Zarya comp really shine. You're forcing Aurafarmers to take a fight in these enclosed spaces. You just use the Kitsune Rush there from Dream Eaters, and now you're going to have this Blizzard. You're going to have the Grav, 2 really, really great ults at kind of controlling a space. But 99% here, Aurafarmers need to win one more fight, and then they can take this first flashpoint. But the percentage for Dream Eaters is building very, very quickly. So whoever can win this next fight, probably going to be able to get this first point.
This setup is crazy. I think the Grav only found 1, that being Vin. We also see the EMP gets used on just Asuka and Nap. Now, will there be a kill? Not onto Asuka. Asuka finds the reversal, in fact, and finds Conde immediately after the EMP. But that being said, nothing else can come to touch as Golden Pants has to roll out and get back to safety. They allow Dream Eaters to get this first point on the board here, and they still have 2 really big ultimates after the Grav has been used.
Yeah, the Grab, it does just lock down the Lucio, but hey, you take that out of the fight. That's a lot of speed now gone. We are going to see Conde swap over onto the Sojourn here, so off of that Sombra, not really finding the kind of high impact hacks that they really needed.
No, I agree with you, and I think the Sombra's going to do a lot more work here, but Asuka's popping open that overclock, and we got to respect those hands. 1, 2 have been gone down for the count. Trying to find a third, possibly, maybe in the eyes of Golden Pants on that ball, but you see how Killa, unfortunately, oh, not the boof. I was like, Killa TP'd into the Soldier, but couldn't get the kill, and then you get booped off the map, and suddenly it's a complete flip here in favor of Aurafarmer.
Great tech there from Golden Pants, showing kind of the double boop and just how far back you can knock people with this Wrecking Ball. Gonna go ahead and build up the mines for his trouble. This is a really great spot for him to be, similar to how Aurafarmer kind of pushed up on that first point. Now you want to push up to this second one. You have the mines to work with here. Dream Eaters don't seem to be aware that he's up here.
They don't, and they don't know that Minefield is also being used. But thankfully, the rest of the team is really together, Rain. So I think that is a good thing for Dream Eaters to not have to be a victim of these minefields. They go around the back, try to go for a Blizzard, finds not really anyone stunned in that regards. They're gonna layer the continued rush coming through from that, right? On the point is where they want to hold. Dream Eaters are trying to stabilize. They actually are able to actually find the point right underneath the noses of Aurafarmer, but as they stay so close together, Golden Pants gets such a free pile driver onto the Lucio, and the follow-up onto Asuka is very much there. That being said, everyone has basically split for the count, and you know in a dive setting, they love when y'all split apart.
Yeah, we're just watching Golden Pants kind of ping-pong around the map, finding a kill everywhere he goes, and you called it, Mod. I mean, as soon as Dream Eaters got split up, you don't have the kind of safety in numbers, and Aurafarmers is just going to go ahead and tear you apart. Now they have the blade to work with. Golden Pants nearly at another mines. Didn't find the value here last time, but surely Dream Eaters don't expect it to come again.
Surely, 5% left, and I mean, at this point, you know you're a brawl, you know you can't do it fast enough, you're gonna let it go, knowing that you at least might have the speed to get to the next point first. Big thing about any of these next couple of points is positioning and being able to stabilize on your junkyards, on your bomb flats, is so important to get there first than anything else.
Yeah, especially because Myro does have this grab nearly ready to go. Now, unlike Aurafarmers, Dream Eaters would love to have a choke to work with.
Oh, but this is a classic sound barrier with a dragon blade, and Myro could even use the graviton surge to maybe put Evil in one spot. So Evil got a free 3-piece, 4-piece, no combo, no fries, no biscuit, just the tenders. Oh my gosh, what a combination from Aurafarmer.
Really great stuff, and the timing of it was really, really nice as well. Dream Eaters were kind of trying to position themselves into the doorway so that they could use this grab from Myro as Aurafarmers were attacking, but Aurafarmers moved just a little bit faster, right? You can hit the bead and the blade, so you're able to kind of find those kills before Dream Eaters even know where to put themselves.
The fight used really early, so as a dash, so Evil has to chill a little bit without those imperative resources. And with that being said, Golden Pants doesn't have anyone to follow up with them, right? So everyone from Dream Eaters turns around, looks right at the Golden Pants, and then you have the Graviton Surge basically for free from Myro finding that Genji early on, and it was targeted to you specifically, and I'm okay with that.
That was a crazy grab throw from Myro. Very brave, saw the deflect come out, so knew that Evil wasn't gonna have it, but yeah, locks down 2, long range, really nice stuff, and now Dream Eater's gonna start building some percentage of their own. 57%, really good for Aurafarmer to start off here.
I love the retake coming in from Aurafarmer, starting off with that continued rush down that main field. You can see the overclock also being used, but Asuka's health pool is nothing of note, really getting called out by Golden Pants in the backside of the objective. Still though, numbers are a big game for Dream Eaters, and they are the ones in the lead, at least momentarily. They need to find another body, or even more so, or from their side, you know what, we can back out a little bit and wait for some people to come back for the next fight.
Yeah, I like that call from Aurafarmer. We saw last time on Lijiang that they took a fight a little bit too long, but Quayu starting out with the headshot onto Conde means that you're not going to have that consistent damage that you really want from Aurafarmer.
And what I love is Quayu's secondary fires have been so on point, finds so much value with the headshot from the icicles, but we lose two, Asuka and your Kiriko. Without that healing output, you're only relying on the Lucio area of effect, and it's not enough for someone like Myro on Zarya to stay alive and stabilize. What's good though is that they have a solid touch here at 99%.
Yeah, Dream Eaters definitely have some time to work with here. Now, you don't have any ultimates to work with, but the good news is Aurafarmer don't necessarily have anything either. The longer the fight goes on, Evil's going to be able to build up to the blade, and we see what he can do with the blade for sure. But Dream Eaters, you really want to force your way onto the point, play underneath so that you can really get value from these Mei walls.
92%. It is down to the wire, and they just... Oh, that was beautiful. I'm so sorry, Asuka. But that cohesion from Evil and Golden Pants has been a big, big thing that's been giving so much value for Aurafarmer and all of these fights here. Now you're going around the objective, you're pushing everyone away, you're separating as many people as much as possible. Knap tries to go back together with the team and doesn't find the time to do so without Golden Pants right up against them. Quayu and Nat, both of which found out without anyone around them, and just like that, Aurafarmer pick apart their opponent and they take them to the wire. Now going over to round number 4.
Looks like we're heading over to Refinery for our 4th and potentially final point here. Aurafarmer's going to be able to get themselves set up first. You have an entire slate of ultimates to work with here. Those mines from Golden Pants going to shut down basically any entryway that Dream Eaters look to come through. If you're Dream Eaters here, you just want to take a nice dry fight here. Try to get some of these ults out of Aurafarmer so you can just come in next time with your own ults.
Well, that's the first one going down, so that's one out of the way here in the mind of Dream Eaters. They still have to build up to the rest of their pretty much 5, I would say. Should be built up soon. They're gonna use the continuous to help facilitate that win, but especially with the rest of the team basically pressing Q besides Evil, that's gonna be a very clean and quick one for Aurafarmer.
I mean, you use that Kitsune Rush and you get out a bunch of ultimates. Both support ults gone for Aurafarmer. Conde committed that overclock as well. So, although Dream Eaters, you didn't necessarily do a dry fight, but you got the ults out, and now you're coming into this. You have the ults to work with here. You're gonna have a hard time walking through this little choke point, though. You have to wonder if you want to maybe try and get some angles here. Do have the grab ready to go as well. We've seen Myro go for kind of these smaller 1-2 people grabs. Is going to be the one-person grab this time.
And again on Vintag, it has to be targeted at this point, but the Sound Barrier does come through your Lily 1 HP though, Conde, and it's all up to Evil to maybe bring it back, but the only one single blade kill onto Naf is just not going to be enough for Aurafarmer to reverse the tide a bit and bring back the objective. They have to regroup here, especially as they are kind of inadvertently staggering themselves out.
Yeah, Dream Eaters would love to get some, longer kills here. You do find the support line, so that means that the rest of Aurafarmer probably going to fall very quickly. Yeah, you can't deflect the Mei primary and the Zarya beam, as we see Golden Pants will manage to get out with his life, and the mines coming online quickly as well. This Blizzard from Quayu is ready to go. The only ultimate that Dream Eaters really have to work with here. And on Refinery, this is a more kind of wide open space kind of a map. It's going to be hard to really get the value from this Blizzard.
Oh no, I mean they have to use it at some point. They're down their soldier, and after such a very beautiful, again, power driver onto the soldier, and again, Quayu cannot be using the secondary fires, especially in a deflecting Genji's face. Evil takes the Mei out easily, and again, Dreamers are in this situation where they are at the advantage, at least numbers-wise, 90% to 61%. They have a touch, and they only have the Blizzard and the Continuous Rush to do so.
Yeah, if I'm Dream Eaters, I'm not setting up just on the middle of the point there. When you're playing this kind of brawl composition against Aurafarmer, you need to lock yourself into a room or a space that's not going to have as many angles, because that's how Aurafarmers are winning every single time. Golden Pants is doing such a great job splitting this team apart.
Oh, they're just so on top of them. No, there's just simply no way, Rain. Asuka makes it, but to what extent is that going to be fruitful for them, right? You can see that Myro's trying to get some kills as well, finds one to kill it, but can't even walk onto the point. And with that being said, it's going to be a 2-0 here so far for Aurafarmers, really solidifying the spot in match point. And now again, the world is their oyster. Dream Eaters need to find somewhere to go to make the start of reverse sweep happen.
Yeah, and then you gotta be thinking about that Wrecking Ball ban. Now you're back into the wall. You have to win this next map if you're Dream Eaters. And Golden Pants with the second play of the game here, just showing how impactful this Wrecking Ball can be, especially when you're paired with kind of these DPS that are able to really do a nice job following up. We saw the Tracer banned out a target onto Evil, but flexed really nicely onto the Genji and still had a great impact.
What a boop. What a double poop. It was so good, because that was a turning point of the fight there for Dream Eaters, and suddenly you lose both your DPS in the exact same breath. That being said though, Aurafarmer really showcasing their prowess, but they did lose at least one round, right? So it is possible. It is possible to mitigate this ball comp in some way, shape, or form, and whether or not that was because of the Tracer ban that was in play here from Dream Eaters, they need to find another answer, right? They need to find some way, shape, or form to make sure they go to a map where Ball really doesn't have a lot of space to play around like he can on New Junk City.
Yeah, and that crucially, that one point that Dream Eaters got on New Junk City was that first point, right? It was the arena point where the brawl is going to be a little bit more favored. So it's good that they were able to pick up that sub-map, playing the comp that they're comfortable on. But now, like you said, this is your map pick. You need to pick a map where you're going to be able to be comfortable on that style across the entire map, because so far on Control and Flashpoint, it just hasn't worked out for Dream Eaters. But this is their last attempt to try and stay in this upper bracket, so they got to do everything they possibly can for this one.
They have to. So they're going to have a little bit of time to think about it as we go to a very quick break. We're going to get into our map 3. We're going to get into who is possibly going to win this series out, or if we're going to get their start of a reverse sweep. Again, on the line is $1,500 at the end of the day in the open tier bracket. So everything matters from here on out. And we'll see you guys on the other end of this break for map number 3.
Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the cusp of a 3-0 here for Aurafarmer. Dream Eaters are the ones that need to figure out where we gotta go to ideally get rid of this ball in some way, shape, or form, which has been really a problem all throughout Lijiang Tower into New Junk City. They are asking, what is a bad ball map? And honestly, I can't tell you. They're all good, apparently. Every ball player plays on all of them, and they're crazy. So they have to find somewhere for something to work to get a reverse sweep, or they go down to loser's reign.
Yeah, you don't want to fight your way through that lower bracket, Dream Eaters. I have to wonder if you don't know what map to take us to, there's always the opportunity to ban out the ball. That will, of course, mean that you'll have to complete the rest of the reverse sweep without that ban in your back pocket. But so far, their pick of New Junk City did not deter the Wrecking Ball whatsoever. Golden Pants looking as strong as ever on that hero for Aurafarmer. And then the Tracer ban coming out as well. Maybe a little bit of impact, but Evil was able to flex over onto the Genji and still did a fantastic job controlling the angles and following up on the kills that Golden Pants were setting up. So, Mott, where are they going to take us that is a bad ball map?
Well, if it's a bad ball map, we're gonna go Runasapi, okay? We're gonna go Runasapi, and listen, it can be any map is a bad ball map if you just ban ball, guys. Just please ban ball here, and low-key Dream Eaters can cook. I'm just saying. Runasapi, I like it. You kind of, we were in behind the scenes, you and I were talking a little bit. Going to push, I think, is a really good option. And of the push that's available to us, I do like Runasapi the most, genuinely. Especially if you want to, you know, play a really hard brawl like Czar, Malga, whatever, right? I think this could be a really good change of pace here for Dream Eaters.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, against the Wrecking Ball, if you don't go for the ball ban here, at least the ball isn't going to have as many tiny little corners and stuff to hide in as he would on, like, New Junk City. We saw a lot of kind of just, like, positioning happening from the Wrecking Ball, hanging up from the ceiling. You get a nice bird's eye view, and then you can just call your engage super easy. So it's a little bit harder to kind of get that done on Runasapi, but, I mean, if you want to just ban out the Wrecking Ball, that is totally a great option here. Now, you are going to probably have Evil back over on the Tracer. And yes, all right, now is the time, Mott. They're pulling out the ball ban.
Like I said, Runasapi is a bad ball map if he's just not on it. It's fine. there you go. You take out the ball, then you can play really anything else, because you can only disrupt so many times. I think what's really difficult about playing a ball composite, or playing into a ball composition, is that everyone on all fronts are a distraction. The front line has a ball, it's pummeling in front of your face, and you have a Genji in your back line, you Trish in your back line, you have a Kiriko, then Lucio that are pretty much doing their own thing as well. At least mitigating that big old like health pool distraction of ball is really nice to think about. So you can see maybe something else coming through from Aurafarmer, as now they're on their ban phase, and they know, okay, they try banning out Tracer, Evil can still pop off on the Genji. They keep playing Kiriko, they try playing Lucio, and if they want to, they could also go for a preemptive Brig ban. I actually am thinking that that Dream Eaters might go back to like a Brig here.
I agree. Okay, we're gonna have the Widow banned out from Aurafarmer. Now we haven't seen the Widow just yet in any of these maps so far, but Runasapi, you definitely do have kind of the opportunity to play Widow, and if you don't have the Wrecking Ball on the field, Widow can have a much easier time being played. Not a lot of pressure being put on her, but regardless, this does mean that Dream Eaters are pretty much open to play any composition that they've shown so far and been comfortable on.
I'm not gonna lie, that Widow ban is just because they had nothing else to ban. They were chill. They were fine with anything else. They were like, you know what? We knew ball was coming. All we gotta do is make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. We're on our P's and Q's, right? That's all Aurafarmer are thinking of doing. They gotta make sure they play the game, regardless if they have the ball or not. Now, Dream Eaters are sighing a big breath of fresh air. They didn't ban anyone that they've been really keen to playing. They didn't ban Soj. They didn't ban anything like that. They didn't ban Lucio or Trey or Kiriko. So they have basically their entire toolkit available to them. So really, on paper, this is a big advantage here for Dream Eaters to take and run with.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want on this third and potentially final map of this upper bracket second round. Looking like Myro might start over on the Diva here. Only been seeing a lot of work being done there. I like Asuka's maybe going out on the Freya as well. We got to see a little bit of that on Lijiang Tower. I think having nice long sight lines here on Runasapi definitely also favors that hero. Aurafarmer, now I was quite interested to see what is Golden Pants going to run out with, if not the Wrecking Ball. The answer is going to be the Zarya. Doesn't have a Reaper to combo with it, but Evil is back over on the Tracer, so you are going to be able to kind of control that angle. It puts a lot of pressure on Quayu on the Tracer to kind of try and find these duels.
I want to yell at Myro, like, Myro, no, go swap, he's on Zarya! It's like the Breaking Bad meme. That's what I felt like right there, but Golden Pants only at low charge, so the team of Dream Eaters is doing a very good job of not overcharging or even giving any sort of attention to the Zarya, forcing these bubbles to be used relatively early. There's a 40% already, 45 now on the board, so that's going to do a little bit of damage here to Myro more consistently, right? As Aurafarmer are able to take the objective first in their hands, and also separating the backline from front a little bit here, but that's just gonna be Evil again. Really showcasing the mechanics behind that Tracer, just following up so effortlessly for Aurafarmer.
Yeah, unfortunately for Asuka, once the Tracer kind of closes the distance, it's going to be really hard to kind of win that matchup, as Myro is going to swap over onto the Zarya, so we're going to get the Zarya Mira. Evil with another early pick here. Natnif at least is going to have the teleport to get back into this fight quickly, but Aurafarmer already pushing up and taking really aggressive positioning.
Okay, well, you can already see Myra has swapped over to mirror the Zarya here. So basically mirrored compositions on both sides, which comes down to who plays the comp better at that point, right? Evil already has Pulse Bomb. Quayu not too far behind, only 10% away to their own Pulse Bomb. That being said, Myro and Golden Pants will be in this duel for a little bit here. You have Golden Pants at the higher charge so far, and Myro needs to respect that. The bubble does come through, gives a little bit extra charge to Myro, but both bubbles have now been used, and now you can start getting active onto the Zarya. Oh my gosh, I almost thought Evo was gonna die there, but it's gonna be Myro instead, forced to go into a small enclosure, then go open back up towards Golden Pants, who again, high charge means I can run it down.
Myro, unfortunately not able to kind of stay alive through that. The bubbles kind of being forced to be used on Myro himself, which just get burned out super quickly. Golden Pants having a little bit more freedom to kind of put these bubbles over onto Evil, so you're able to kind of have a little bit of more of a kind of this pressure over on the side. I like where you kind of trying to take a little bit of this duel here, but Golden Pants has this grab ready to go.
And we're gonna use it. Boom, and there it goes. Myro will be the one to go down again. 120 meters to nothing so far. They're completely running through the opposition. And high charge Zarya, no, we gotta back out, reset, let that deplete a little bit. But they have only really seconds to come through with a touch here.
Yeah, Myro's gonna swap over onto the Winston to try and make that touch happen. Unfortunately, Naf dies just before the beat's online.
Oh, that's it. Unfortunately, that's it. That is the entirety of Runasapi done in about 3 minutes here in favor of Aurafarmers. Really, really well done with the Zarya composition. Always getting high charge. Golden Pan's pretty much, I think Min-Maxer is a appropriate title for you, actually. Yeah, it really just able to maximize Zarya's output and always be at high charge no matter what. Unfortunately, Myro just could not really handle that 1v1, and even the Winston is on paper a really good counter to Zarya. That big ol' bubble mitigates that beam so effortlessly, but with the overclock being able to pierce, yeah, at that point it was really difficult for Myro and really the rest of Dream Eaters to come through with some consistent touches at the end of Runasapi.
Yeah, Golden Pants getting the play of the game sweep here. All 3 maps definitely putting in work, showing that that Wrecking Ball ban is not going to be enough to slow him down. Did a really good job kind of enabling Aurafarmers to really play aggressively, whether it was on the Wrecking Ball and you're rolling through, you're splitting up Dream Eaters, you're finding kind of that second of CC in the pile drives, or you're playing Zarya and you're getting these bubbles over onto Evil so that you can play a more aggressive angle. All the while, Aurafarmers, the team, just really playing around this tank really nicely. Dream Eaters, nice swaps in some of these. I like to see kind of the move off of that Brig Kiriko that we saw, but unfortunately just not able to keep up with the intensity that came out from Aurafarmer.
I think that's the best way to put it, is the intensity from Aurafarmer was a lot of a higher threshold than Dream Eaters can really hope to achieve, especially in the short span of map 1 into map 2 into map 3. Especially map 3. I feel like at that point they lost so much momentum, and once you get past that first checkpoint of Runasapi, yeah, you have a lot of momentum going in your favor, especially if you also have high charge Zarya, which is all momentum based anyway. So as you can see, very clear scoreboards here. 2-0 for Lijiang Tower, then a 3-1 on New Junk City, and closing out a very, very fast full cap of Runasapi as well for map 3. A little refresher on our bans as well. They were strong bans in and of themselves, especially in the context of map 2 and map 3. The Tracer ban very much targeted towards Evil. Map 3, the Ball ban targeted towards Golden Pants. Unfortunately, just wasn't enough this time.
Yeah, I like to take a look at these bans, and you can see that in map 1, both of these teams were like, don't really know what you're going to play. Here's a couple of bans, and then map 2 and 3, you know, much more targeted. Yeah, seeing that Diva getting taken out, the Tracer as well. So it goes to show kind of that level of strategy involved in these hero bans, but unfortunately, the strategy just was not enough for Dream Eaters, despite having some good bans, because Aurafarmer just had too much flexibility.
I think that's also a big thing. The flexibility was definitely there, showcased by Aurafarmer. No matter who was banned, they were like, okay, we have another character that is played at the same level as whomever was banned. It was extremely a pleasure to see Aurafarmer and Dream Eaters try to really just be flexible in their competitions and really showcase what they could on the stream today. But Dream Eaters, unfortunately, with that loss, will go down to the lower bracket here. Likely, I believe, going into a rematch, I want to say, against their round 1. I think so, who they did 3-0, to be fair. So they have chances of continuing and getting a spot in Grand Finals from the lower bracket side. But Aurafarmer looking fantastic. And with that being said, I'm going to get someone from Aurafarmer here to talk about this win and see what they think about going forward in the playoff bracket. So we're going to do a very quick break, get them in here and talk to them. That being said, we'll see you on the other side of this break. So everybody, unfortunately, they call me Liar Neva. We will not get an interview today, but in the future we will. These guys were just so excited for their win, they kind of dipped out of the lobby, and they're out celebrating their win as they should. With a 3-0 on the board here for Aurafarmer, I would also be doing the very same thing. But Rain, with that win, where will they go next? Who will they possibly go up against? And what's the lower bracket looking like now that Dream Eaters has entered the fray?
Let's take a look at the bracket here. So, not updated. We don't know necessarily who Aurafarmer is going to be playing or who Dream Eaters is going to be playing just yet. But we do, of course, know that Dream Eaters is going to be heading down into that lower bracket where they're going to face off against either T4 Demons or Bliss Marauders. And you mentioned it earlier off stream that this could be a rematch for them against the T4 Demons who they faced in their first round there, but we don't know the fate of that lower round one just yet, but something for Dream Eaters to look forward to. Aurafarmers on the other side, they're going to be looking forward to the conclusion of MSU versus Smelvin Industries to see who they are going to be playing in that winners round 3.
Oh, and after winners round 3, it's grand finals for them, at least from the winner's side. You gotta wait for round 4 for losers before they can get their lower match in that grand finals. So we have a lot more coming your way. And not just that, but also just today, we have more matches, or whatever. We have Rat Milkers coming through at 8 o'clock Eastern, 2000 hours, and against Low Ground Main. That's going to be a fun one. We've been covering Low Ground Main a couple of times in the regular season. They are a treat to watch every single time, and Rat Milkers have the work cut out for them against Low Ground Main. With that being said, that is the end of the broadcast. Always give a big shout out to my producers and my observer for today, Hippie and Aladi. Thank you so much for everything. Rain, thank you for casting with me. As always, is a pleasure. And with that being said, I think we're good to close out. So everyone, we'll see you guys later today for the Rat Milkers and Low Ground Main game at 8 o'clock Eastern, 2000 hours. That being said, have a good one, and we'll see you guys then.